Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my man Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at a little 3-game slate here on a Tuesday night, Nate. A couple good games, though, so we do have some fun game videos up for you and our player props that we're bringing you each and every weekday of this regular season. So come back and like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. Also want you to head to thelines.com. Nate and gang put all the great written content up there for you guys, including all of our player props picks. So go ahead and get in there and also check out our odds finder tool. You can use that to make sure you're getting the best juice back as you shop those NBA bets this season. Nate, let's get into that little 3-game slate and then get into our first game here, Lake Show in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's the first game up here, and Lakers are up to +5 and +172 on the money line. I actually thought it would be trending the other way based on recent results, but here we are getting even more value on the Lakers. I'll talk about that one in a minute. Pistons are +9 at the Heat. We're on a back-to-back, and thank God we don't have to talk about the Pistons again. If this was just a 2-game slate, we would. And the Heat, the incredibly inconsistent Miami Heat. Who wants to talk about that?
Don't want to talk about that.
And then the Mavs are up to +5 at Denver. I do understand why that's moving in that direction since Dallas is on a back-to-back here and has been awful on the road. That's the other game we will break down, though. Looking for some betting angles. Look, I'm less confident about this Lakers spread than I was at Milwaukee. Because Cleveland is definitely frisky. And they've just been wildly inconsistent. I mean, like, I'm trying to find an angle for the over or under, and there's so many contrasting options in terms of what you want to do. Like Cleveland, either their offense just does not show up whatsoever, or they will light it up with those two guards just getting hot. I guess you could throw a third guy in Karis LeVert, who had a random spike game. But I think if you are looking at the total, betting the under live might hit because Cleveland's offense has ground to a halt in the second half of games this season, and they are by far the best defense in the second half, allowing in their last 3 a league low 44 points per game in those second halves. But what I would want to do here is just keep riding the Lakers. And you said you want to climb aboard the bandwagon. There is room for us who stood on the island of the Lakers are going to bounce back. AD and LeBron are going to have a revenge season, and then looked so stupid when they started 2-8. Well, they've won 8 of their last 10, and AD looks like the defensive player of the year, if not a MVP candidate right now. And LeBron is getting back into the swing of things for sure. Their offense is another thing to be wary about because they just want to push the pace and scoring 130 per game with a 103 pace, getting 28 free throw attempts per game in their last 5. Give LeBron 1 game to get back acclimated, and then these last 5. Their offense has been great. Russ running that second unit and still not scoring at a high rate, but he did have 15 assists last game, along with 6 turnovers. And look, this is a nationally televised game with LeBron returning to Cleveland. Hint that's going to be in the player props at this point because we are talking a big-time show-out spot. In his last 3 trips to the land since he was on Cleveland, averaging nearly 39 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. So with AD playing the way he is in his last 10, 34 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks. With LeBron playing the way he is in the last 5, I have a hard time betting against the Lakers. Whether you want to say the Cavs offense is more of a concern, and I don't know if they can match points down the stretch with AD, who's just a problem. Jared Allen is questionable, and they have no chance to stop him if Jared Allen does not play. Or whether you want to just say, look, if it's a run and gun game, the Lakers have been comfortable in that style, and they just beat the freaking Bucks doing that in Milwaukee. Cleveland is next up, but they are not there yet. They are not that team that has a true alpha. Meaning basically Evan Mobley is not yet Giannis, even if you want to look at his trajectory as a guy who's going to be a real big two-way player. I just think, this is the big boys coming to Cleveland in a spot that matters a lot to them, and that they're just playing a lot better than they were earlier in the season when they lost to the Cavs. Of course, the biggest difference was the bench unit for the Cavs pulling away, holding the Lakers to just 16 points in the third quarter. Again, we're talking about that second half lull. But the Lakers have figured out their bench now with Russ running that unit, at least keeping the pace up. Austin Reeves playing very well. And they should have everybody tonight, right? LeBron, AD probable. Everybody's ready to go here. They're in the middle of this roadie. But it's kind of, the NBA is a game of runs. Well, it seems like a season of runs right now. And if you want to ride a team until they show that they're starting to let up, I think you take LA on the front end of a back-to-back tonight. I don't know about taking them in Toronto tomorrow night, but this game more important for them.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I'll go ahead and get ahead of that Toronto game tomorrow night and bet on the Raptors would be my guess, because it's going to get. I think once we see who plays and who doesn't play tomorrow night for the Lakers, you're going to lose any value that you might have had on the Raptors being a really good home team, despite their loss to the best team in the history of the NBA, the Boston Celtics. No shame in losing to the Celtics at home right now. The Raptors are still a very good home team. Let's get back to this game. Funnily enough, you said nobody's hurt for the Lakers, and I agree. LeBron James is listed as probable. Slightly day-to-day. I laugh at that heartily, because we all know LeBron James is playing in Cleveland tonight. And so then you feel pretty good about his props and all that. But in this one, I think it's not only the fact that you want to get on these teams that are streaking the way that the Lakers are. It's real to me. Like, it's a real streak because of the way that they're winning. Obviously, beating the 3 teams that they've won in their 3-game win streak. The Blazers was a nice win, and they did that handily. Blazers team without Dame. The Bucks, they obviously won that game, huge game that we talked about, and you were all over. And then the Wizards, they won beating the Wizards the way that they beat the Wizards, 130 to 119. That defense is not really up to par right now. The best player, obviously the only defensive player that I feel pretty good about on the Lakers right now is Anthony Davis, just cleaning up all the mistakes that the rest of his team is making with their 117 defensive rating over that win streak. But the reason they're winning is because their net rating is plus 10, because their offensive rating is better than 127 points per 100 possessions. Obviously not sustainable for a whole season, but it is a really, really good snippet of offense from them, including obviously a streak from AD, as you said, definitely inserting himself into the MVP conversation by averaging 42 points a game over his last 3 with 13 rebounds and only 1 turnover, 3 blocks as well. So just an incredible one-man performance. But LeBron's back, averaging 30 over that time as well, with 8 assists and 7 boards, and that's what you want from him, is basically 8 boards, 8 assists, 8 boards, 29 points. MVP LeBron. It sounds harsh, but that is his homeostasis, dude. Like, he needs to be getting that for those numbers for this team to be winning the way that they are. And then the most important statistic that you might think isn't as important as Anthony Davis being 42 points a game, but Russell Westbrook, 10 assists and 2 turnovers a game, man, in 3 contests. You mentioned only roughly 11 points or about 10 points a game on just 11 field goal attempts, and only 3 3-point attempts. Like, everything I just said is the key. It's not shooting threes. It's keeping that field goal percentage for Russ in the 40s, which it's still close to that. Still, you'd like him to be a little bit more efficient with his shots, because he's not even getting to the free throw line. The point is he's assisting and not turning the ball over. And if he's giving the ball up rather than throwing it at the rim while he drives into 3 guys, then this team is very capable of winning. Just do a little bit less Russell Westbrook. And that's why their offense is clicking the way that it is as well. And their whole team is not turning the ball over the last 3 to the extent of the best in the league. 8.8% turnover percentage, not giving the ball away, not giving up points in transition. Their half-court offense is not wonderful. I will say that, but they are at least getting back on defense and playing good transition basketball, which is crucial in most of these games for them, as I think it will be a little bit more tonight in a Cleveland against Cleveland, who they're very, very good on defense wherever they're playing. We know that they limit the opponent in every way possible, points, rebounds, all of that. But what they need here and what the style of play that they have at home, it's tailor made for the Lakers, right? They're scoring 8 more points per game at home is Cleveland. Their defense is just as good, as I said. It's actually a little bit better at home, but they've also got a pretty decently easy strength of schedule so far. If you look at who they've played, especially from the West, I don't feel as though they've been challenged enough to really feel like they're a juggernaut. I will say Cleveland is my team outside of Boston and Milwaukee to keep an eye on that could probably make a play for the East if they pull things together. But right now it still is a little bit. I mean, Donnie Mitchell's assists have come down a bit in their last 5 games after he was diming up at a career rate before that. So I think all of that is to say, There's going to be points in this game. I prefer an over on the total just because of the way that the Lake Show have been playing at 103 pace as well over the course of these last 3 games, winning them all. So if they're going to win, the Lakers are going to try and assert their will and play fast and just use AD as their sort of defensive stopper against Evan Mobley and not have to worry about Jared Allen. So 5 points seems like too much for the Lakers. I think people might not still believe in them, which is fine. If teams are going to continue, like the Lakers and the Kings are going to continue to find this type of value against teams that they're as good as, then yeah, I'll continue to take the points that they're giving me, in this case 5 right now.
Yeah, I mean, where is the Lakers defense vulnerable? It is in transition because they're just fine playing that way. It's also vulnerable against teams that really spread the ball around and have a high assist to field goal ratio. But Cleveland, 5th fewest fast break points at home, 12th worst assist to field goal at home. And then where's the Lakers defense good? Keeping you off the free throw line and guarding the 3-point line. And when you have an offense that's built around 2 guards going, I go, you go, maybe that helps. That's why I'm having a hard time trying to predict an over or under. Maybe they do both light it up and they're hot. But down the stretch, like if we get into clutch time, I would much rather have LeBron and AD that you can just throw it down to and say make a call or don't to the officials than Donnie Mitchell trying to get around and through someone, which has been the problem for Cleveland recently. That's why they couldn't hang with Toronto. That's why they couldn't even beat the Knicks, right? 81 points against the Knicks, which a defense has been lit up a lot lately. And then you look at the Cavs defense, number 1 in points per game, yes. Also keeping guys off the free throw line, but at home, 16th in terms of paint points allowed. Some of that has to do with Allen being out, but if he's not 100% or he is out, AD's march through the painted area shall continue. And when it comes down to it, if it's a close game, I'd much rather have the Lakers money line. I'd much rather have them +5 because I don't think the Cavs are going to be able to blow them out here. It is a new day for this team, and all they needed was kind of a little bit of a run, a little bit of momentum to get that swagger back, that they actually are the contending team that won a title just 2 years ago and not a complete decrepit situation here. So looking at the money line, and there are some player performance doubles that like AD double is +200 in a win. That's just like taking the money line again. LeBron 8 rebounds +370, and LeBron's been shooting a lot of threes lately because the Lakers don't have many other options from the perimeter. And for him to hit 4 threes in a win, nice juicy +750 at FanDuel. He did hit 7 threes in one of those trips back to Cleveland. So keep an eye on those if you want to juke the money line a little bit.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, if LeBron is going to hit 4 threes in this game, then I feel like that means that the offense is clicking. Obviously, you still need to depend on a few other guys. And what's Russell Westbrook going to do? Is he going to pass to Austin Reeves and Lonnie Walker and AD when he gets in there, or is he going to finish that shot around the rim? And as of late, it's been good enough for him to kind of keep them in games. Their clutch numbers over the course of their last 5 or so is also really, really good. Cleveland not really playing many clutch games, to be honest. Recently, they just don't. They've got the worst net rating. Does Cleveland in clutch time over the course of the last 3 because they haven't really played at all. So it's not quite fair there. But either way, I trust LeBron in this situation. And you've got to assume that he's going to have the ball in his hand pressing. I think he's going to win. I don't know that you necessarily just want to say his usage is going to skyrocket beyond what it's already been at with his 24 field goal attempts a game, which is where AD's at too. But the bulk of the production is going to come from those 2 guys. So you can feel pretty good about the way that they're going to handle things and get their points. But that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. Coming back at you with a couple game videos and our player props each and every weekday. So until we see you next, happy betting.